I'm Sancha, and I am a singer and songwriter, composer, and creator of Inebria.
My name is Gerardo. I am a chef by trade that also moonlights in other creative ventures. I'm a longtime friend and collaborator with Sancha, here to help in a creative direction.
And we are here in residence at Portland Institute for Contemporary Art. So Inebria starts with the protagonist Dolores singing with her two sisters, Azalia and Rosa, and they are flower pickers. And they work in this hacienda owned by Salvador, who's going to be the antagonist. So Dolores and sisters are working in the fields, and Dolores, being the more distracted one, ends up distracting herself and running into Salvador. And they fall in love instantly, as it happens in telenovelas. He does this whole like courting. He gets her, and brings her up into the society that he's from because she's a flower picker. He's of status. They quickly fall in love and get married. There's a big wedding. And after the big wedding, Dolores realizes that this is not what she ever wanted. In her moments of like despair, she has an apparition from an angel alien light force. And this angel alien light force is so mesmerizing to her that she begins to fall in love with Esperanza. And that is kind of what drives the narrative and her breakthrough. And yes, this is about like queer discovery. This is about undoing the telenovela tropes. And was thinking about like disco being like at the heart of the queer scene and gay scenes, and thinking about like the glamour and kind of like what that glamour kind of hides, and kind of taking all those things that I'd learned at like dive bars at queer parties and into like a live performance experience. Come mi sangre y ferve de mi cuerpo.
There's a fantastic nature to the dramatics that usually kind of unfold in those stories. They're usually very, I would say, kind of simplistic in this idea of good and bad. It's not really a spectrum of like human behavior. And I feel like when you're in more of a queer space, you just kind of see a little bit more of a spectrum where you kind of have to like your personality or the shields that you would kind of wear growing up queer, you kind of have to kill that. And I would always almost like this rebirth with people, but it wasn't pretty. It was always kind of ugly and hard.
And I had never imagined that it would be that I would make an opera. This is an opera for like us that kind of live in between and that see the spectrums. This project is going first to Performance Space New York, then it is going to PICA, and then we are taking it to Makla and Red Cat. This project needs a high focus on glam and aesthetics, because both opera and telenovelas are very opulent, and we can achieve a lot with very little and with a lot of support from friends that believe in the project.
Now is an opportunity to take it to another level. But I also find inspiration from a lot of friends that are doing really amazing work, either within fashion or set design or lighting or sculptural work. And I think these are all people that are pushing their craft in a way that is relevant on a cultural sense, pushing it to the communities and families that we create together.
What's cool with Gerardo is that he has this insane reach that I can't even comprehend, and it's really fun to work with that and to expand the story in that way. My dream for Inebriame is for it to tour through opera houses and eventually be made into a movie.
The most exciting thing about it is to see somebody's dream and giving them the support to actualize that and like expand it and see what can kind of come from it. And I think this feels like a good starting point for like a next phase of Sancho's career.